Hello, everyone. Today, my group and I will be presenting our design thinking project for our NTU Minimasters course. And our topic today is centered around providing ESG insights to investment portfolios. So this is a rough breakdown of our presentation. I will be opening with a problem statement as well as interview insights. We will then explore our target persona and proposed solutions, followed by market analysis, our proposed business model, and finally, business model solutions. So to begin, ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance. And these are three factors that are used to evaluate companies on their approach to sustainability, as well as a benchmark to be socially conscious when investing. In general, there has been a growing interest around sustainability and ESG, and UBS actually plays a big role in the space of sustainable finance and do a lot of work to be a socially conscious institution. To align with this mission, our objective and problem statement is to bring forward the same drive towards sustainability to the clients by providing them ESG insights to their portfolios. The current app that is being used by UBS clients is UBS Digital Banking, and the idea is to add an additional feature that shows them insights to their investments. We would work closely with client advisors to get their own inputs, as well as provide training on the feature's functionality so that they can easily explain it to their clients. In general, the goal is to bring greater purpose and meaning to the client's investing experience within UBS. So while doing research for this project, 30 interviews were conducted on a range of people, mainly those who use investing or mobile applications, UBS client advisors, high net worth individuals, and members from the UBS Sustainable Investing team. We were mainly interested in what people's attitudes towards ESG are, if they are currently investing in ESG, and if it matters to them. To be specific, we were more interested in the responses between younger, more inexperienced investors versus those with larger portfolios, as well as taking into account the responses from client advisors on whether they feel that the need for ESG insights will be fruitful for their clients. The UBS Sustainable Finance team were able to provide us with more information on ESG metrics and what they think the future of sustainable investing looks like. So, from our interviews, we could conclude that there is a great interest in ESG and people see the importance of it. Many of the more experienced investors and high net worth individuals highlighted the importance of understanding other metrics other than financial performance and would like their portfolio to tell some sort of a story. They all seem to have been aware of the popularity of ESG and thus are intrigued in the concept and how the investments play a role in it. Similarly, the client advisors not only see the strong returns that investments in companies with high ESG scores bring, but also want their clients to be more socially conscious and have an urge for them to make an impact with their investing. What was interesting, however, is that although there seems to be a great interest in the topic, many don't know where to start and feel quite overwhelmed. They aren't sure on what value it will actually bring, and in general have an apprehension, although there is an underlying interest. Client advisors also highlighted that they feel that there might be a lack of demand from clients to know more about ESG and wonder whether people will just focus on returns rather than the actual impact. What was interesting about this was that we actually found that the attitude of younger investors are more focused on the financial gain and returns in comparison to more experienced investors. And this is understandable, but based on our conversation with the sustainable finance team, they suggest that through providing education and trainings on ESG, we will hopefully be able to combat this and make it a more approachable and useful topic. Next, Haziq will be talking about our target persona as well as our proposed solution.
So through the user interviews and research, we are able to create two personas to help us better understand the user's needs, experiences, behaviors, and goals. So first up here, what you can see, we have Andrew Lee, who is a 54-year-old partner at a law firm with a wife and 3 kids. We can see that he's active in sports by playing tennis and hiking. His goals are also to retire in a few years' time, accumulate wealth, and also giving back to the society. So one key frustration that Andrew faces is the lack of time to explore ESG investing due to his work and family commitments. So moving on. So next we have Isabel Palmer, who is a 26-year-old associate. She loves practicing yoga and Pilates. She also volunteers during the weekends. She is determined to understand more about ESG and the importance of investing at an early age, since she's only 26 years old. However, she has a very busy schedule and feels overwhelmed with the amount of information out there. So, with these personas in mind, we look to create a solution to cater to their needs and goals. So, a one liner on our solution would be for UBS digital banking users who are interested in ESG investing. Our proposed solution is a new feature in the UBS digital banking application that provides ESG insights and analysis on the user's portfolio. It aims to provide an ESG centric summary of the user's portfolio and ESG score for comparison. It will also be able to showcase insights on carbon savings as well as pushing content around ESG investments to the users. So let's move on to a mock-up of the proposed solution that we built. So here you can see users can see a breakdown of the portfolio as well as the portfolio performance since inception, as well as the ESG score of 100, which is an aggregation of the various ESG products that the client has. The user is also able to see reductions in carbon footprint in bite-sized and relatable amounts. At the bottom, we also have interesting content published by the research or CIO team that the users can read. To cater to their needs, the content will be made customizable to what they care about. So in this case, the client cares about climate change and pollution and waste, and hence he's seeing content relating to both topics. On top of that, users are also able to receive notifications of content and investment recommendations based on the preferences so that they don't miss out on anything. So this will be pushed to the users when as and when is necessary.
In this section, I will focus on our market analysis. Specifically, I'll be discussing both investors' rising need for ESG insights and analyzing existing mobile banking competition for UBS. In the financial space, we've been increasingly hearing about the rising importance of ESG investments in our current world. After hearing early adopters and financial experts extol its virtues for more than a decade, ESG, or environmental, social, and governance investing, logged a breakout year in 2020. The last quarter of the year proved to be a watershed moment, as ESG strategies brought in record flows of 152 billion USD, reached record asset levels of 1.6 trillion USD, and drove a record number of 196 product launches. In a survey done by NetAxis Investment Managers in 2020, the firm surveyed participants of varying generations and asset levels on their thoughts regarding ESG-focused investments. Despite their differences in both age and financial status, a wide range of investors largely agree about ESG investing. As seen in the slides, a global average of 71% of respondents agreed with the statement, "I want to make a social impact with my investments," while 81% of respondents highlighted that they wanted to make their investments match their personal values. Drilling down deeper into each segment, first focusing on social impact, we can see that the younger generation of investors place a greater emphasis on making a positive social impact with their investments, with a high at 74% of millennials, classified as those born generally between 1981 to 1996, compared to a low of 65% in the silent generation, classified as those born generally between 1928 to 1945. Focusing next on asset level, we can see that as investors move higher on the wealth spectrum, their focus on generating positive social impact with their investments increases. This ranges between a low of 69% for those classified as mass market to 74% for high net worth individuals. Encouraging signs as both the younger generation and wealthier individuals care more about using their wealth for greater social purposes. Next, our next drill down focuses on personal values and investments. Similar to our previous study, the younger generation places a larger emphasis on matching their investments to personal values, with millennials at 83% compared to the silent generation at 74%. Level of wealth shows a more consistent picture, however, with respondents from all asset levels equally concerned about their investments aligning with personal values, at an average of 81%. In summary, This market survey evidences the increasing importance of focusing on ESG investments, especially for wealth managers like UBS, dealing with high net worth individuals. As wealth shifts from older to younger generation, UBS would do well to place greater emphasis on ESG for their private banking clients. Our next section focuses on competition in the wealth management space. In the pie chart in the slide, you can see the total addressable market for wealth managers and private bank stands at USD 7.7 trillion, with UBS holding the lion's share of this market. Other notable global private banks include Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, Credit Suisse, and JP Morgan, which all serve as direct competition to UBS. Focusing our analysis on each individual wealth manager's banking apps, you can see that UBS's app is rated at 4.5 out of a maximum of 5 on the App Store. An analysis into the strengths and weaknesses of the app shows that users enjoyed the ability to customize their menus and home screens, and also appreciated high level of support they received when they encountered any problems. Weaknesses mainly include a lack of optimization and seamlessness when logging into the banking account, with users needing a separate app to log in securely. However, compared to their top 4 competitors, UBS does relatively well, with their app only overshadowed by Bank of America's 4.7 out of 5 rating, as users enjoyed the great user interface and comprehensive information provided on the American Bank's app. Criticisms of the rest of the bank's apps focused on a lack of tech support when running into problems, and issues over the clunky user interface. In conclusion, the UBS app is ranked relatively well among other banking apps, but has room for improvement in terms of providing more information and usability.
Moving on, let us now take a look at the current business model canvas of UBS Wealth Management, and basically the model describes the rationale of how an organization creates, delivers, and captures value. Let us start off from the right side of the canvas, which consists of the customer segments, value proposition, channels, and customer relationships. And these 4 blocks show us how UBS delivers value. Next, we'll move on to the left side of the canvas, which consists of the key activities, key partners, and key resources. And these 3 blocks show us how UBS creates value. Finally, we will then look at how UBS captures value, which consists of the revenue streams and cost structure. To start off, we will first need to identify our customer segments, which consist of the high net worth individuals, corporations, institutions, and individuals. We will then need to identify which customer segment is the most important for UBS to focus on, and usually these clients will come to us with a common goal, which is to grow and preserve their wealth, and maybe to transfer their wealth to their next generation. In order to do so, we will need to understand the client's needs and goals, whether it is for their retirement, estate planning, tax services, or investment advice, etc. After understanding our customer segments, we will then be able to determine our value proposition, which is to deliver the best services, solutions, and expertise globally to our wealth management clients and helping them achieve their financial and investment goals. Following which, we will then need to determine how can UBS communicate with and reach our customer segments with our value proposition. We can see that there are various ways to do so, which is through our website, client advisors, regional offices, bank branches, and mobile application. Nowadays, in this digitalized world, it is therefore important to focus on mobile application as one of our primary channels to communicate with our clients, as it is fast and convenient. Next, we will then take a look at how is UBS going to establish and maintain the type of relationships with their clients. We can see that UBS wants to deliver a client experience that is personalized, where the products and services are as personal as the client's needs, relevant, where the products and services offered to the client are relevant and matters to them, on time, where the client sets the speed and UBS can act on opportunities anytime and anywhere, seamless, where it should be simple, seamless, and intuitive when clients interact with UBS. Now, moving on to the left side of the canvas, for key activities, it will be providing investment advice for our clients as well as client servicing, where UBS will periodically take a look at the client's portfolio and determine if any rebalancing is needed. Next, in terms of key partners, it will be our clients, The authorities and regulators such as MAS, where we need to ensure that we comply to the guidelines and regulations set out by them, industry associations and bodies, as well as the product providers. After looking at our key activities and partners, we will then need to see what are the key resources needed to deliver our value proposition to our customer segments. For UBS, their key resources will be the existing infrastructure and technology put in place, the investment team, and the client advisors. Moving on, after looking at how UBS creates and delivers value, we will now look at the bottom part of the canvas, where it shows how UBS captures value. We can see that for revenue streams, UBS main revenue sources comes from the management, advisory, and performance fees that we charge our clients, as well as the interest income from lending. Whereas for our cost structure, it will be the interest expense that UBS pays for taking in clients' deposit, the cost of infrastructure, and the remuneration paid to employees, such as their salaries, bonuses, and commissions.
Thanks, Javen. Next, I'll speak about how the new proposed solution might impact our business model. In essence, there's not much changes in terms of business model, and this is because the business model of a private bank is like a product and service model. The revenue generation model is kept pretty much the same, interest revenue, management, and performance fees. And what we propose has a possibility of incurring higher additional costs for the IT infrastructure and the ESG data matrix collection, either internally or through third-party vendors. There is no outright revenue generation, and however, this is like an incremental service, part of the package that we provide to client, and this in turn could make our offerings more attractive compared to competitors. Being well positioned as a bank that promotes ESG has a lot of value as well. What we could see is that this increase in brand value leads to more clients, asset under management, and thereby ultimately increasing the profitability of the bank. And this next slide, what we see is the key changes to the business model canvas that you have seen earlier, and what we foresee with the new proposed solution. So the highlighted in green ones are the new additions of what we foresee. One of the key partners will probably be ESG data providers such as MSCI, S&P, Sustainalytics. And the primary reason is that there are so many securities in the world that it is not possible and it's impossible to be covered by our own internal research team. And therefore, we have to rely on third-party vendors to purchase some of this data. The key resources wise, we would have the ESG data team. And there are two aspects over here, the team that manages the data and the team that actually collects the data, either from third party or the research team collecting internally. So this is crucial to our solution. And for value proposition wise, we mentioned a small part earlier. One of the key highlights would be allowing clients to consider the ESG aspect of the investments, and this would differentiate us from competitors. Customer segment wise, we could see a totally new segment, investors who are only interested in ESG investment. And cost wise, we foresee there will be additional costs to obtain the ESG data and build out the infrastructure to support the delivery of this matrix to our clients. On this last slide, lastly, what we think is that when this solution gets rolled out, in the future, when the platform is more stable, there is also a possibility for a new revenue stream whereby we can provide this platform as kind of like a white labeling solution, and can provide this to smaller asset managers or other private banks who do not have the capability to develop this whole platform because it's quite it could be quite cost intensive or infrastructure and resources wise. So meanwhile, we have the capability to do it, and we can also leverage on it and outsource and white label it and charge a fee in the form of like a SaaS, software as a service type of revenue model, and we charge them for a recurring fee for the usage of the platform to deliver ESG insights for the clients. And this concludes our presentation and proposed solution. Thank you.